doing, Kenny? Hood Rubino, Devil's Digest.
Good.
I know you talked the other day about recreating the emotional investment that you had last year as a key for sustaining success this year. Do you view it as an organic process or something that you meet with your staff, meet with leadership council to go ahead and achieve that feat?
Yeah, I think different guys have to step up. You know, we talked about it. It can't just be X again. You know, that emotion that you felt, Scat left, so naturally we're going to have other people who are late step up. But it can't be one person. It can't be two people. It can't be three people. Last year we had a really special mix of everybody was just invested. Everybody poured everything they could have into it. We've got to be able to find with this team, which is a different team, how to get that emotional investment. Because at the end of the day, football's about winning close games. That's how good seasons happen, is you win close games. I mean, from now till forever, we're going to play close games, and that's in those details. Those small things help you win those close games, and that's going to dictate being whatever that record is or being 5 wins less.
Chris Carpenter, son of a source. Kenny, Trenton Bourget being your assistant running backs coach, just your thoughts on that, and then also how different that things are now versus the old paradigm of the 2 GAs and the quality control people and the importance of those roles.
Yeah, they're huge. Everybody can coach now. So, you know, back in the day, people used to be GAs, but they were really just coaches and trying to pass classes for the most part because of the demands of college football. Now, this new setup that we've kind of created with the athletic department, I think it really adds our ability to get young people into the profession. So we've kind of moved around some of the GA roles because everybody can coach and put more smaller entry-level roles in there so we can hire more people to kind of enter this profession, which I think is awesome, that we have the ability now to hire more young guys, more former players that already know our culture, already know our systems, that can actually help our next generation of guys. And having a guy like T, he was just in it. So like, I should lean on him more than I would a guy who wasn't just in it, because he has a better dynamic of what goes on in the locker room, what guys are truly like kind of behind the scenes. So T adds a lot of value to the staff, not just from a football standpoint, but from a knowledge kind of behind the scenes, you know, pull back the sheets and not really understand what's in there.
Doug?
So if Trent has a goal, Kenny, of being the head coach at Arizona State by age 30, do you encourage that, or do you kind of walk him back from that?
Let's see, that's 8. What is he, 20? Well, he's like 30 already, isn't he? No, I would tell him to try to push it back a few years. Maybe not a ton, but maybe push it back just a few.
And then you made a really interesting point on your appearance on Adam Brenneman's podcast about teams merging from decade to decade. First Oregon, then Clemson. Where did that thought come from? Did you research that, or was that something that someone else brought up to you? How did you come up with it?
Not research it. I'm big on trends, whether it's coaching trends, whether it's football trends. I think if you're copying a trend constantly, I think you're in trouble. So, or as well, you know, from a football perspective, while some teams are watching the Detroit Lions right now, right? I don't want to watch the Detroit Lions because everybody's watching the Detroit Lions. Even though they're really good and they're doing creative things, well, then we're just going to be part of the new trend. Like, that doesn't make you different. So I study trends, and that was a trend where, you know, you can't really be different from it, but it's just every year, every 10 years, every 8 years, a new team kind of arises, and it's all for different purposes, different regions. You know, Dabo got to Clemson and absolutely, you know, did a phenomenal job. And Phil Knight and the investment they made into Oregon kind of changed and all that. You could even add Boise into that mix a little bit if you really wanted to, in that era where they kind of put themselves on the map. And I think it goes back to the blue turf. It was so different. Like, oh my gosh, where is that? Then all of a sudden they started winning. Then they win the Oklahoma game. It's like, okay, that's Boise State. They're a really good football team. So I think everybody has these moments where they kind of put themselves on the map in these eras. And right now there's, you know, you could argue Utah's inching into that world, but nobody's really stamped themselves as this era. And I think that's the challenge: is can we do that? Can we be that team that in 7-8 years from now they're like, whoa, they showed up in this time, and then 10 kids that are in, you know, the 3rd grade, that's all they remember, and that's the goal.
And just one quick follow-up to that: when you've been around in previous jobs, everyone knows your roots. Did people approach you and say, like, why isn't Arizona Arizona State more consistent at a higher level? Were those conversations that people approached you with?
Always. I mean, Arizona State's always been. We still haven't done it. We've done it 1 year. I mean, there's always been flashes in the pan here. There's just never been consistency. So to say we've achieved it is absolutely false. We haven't achieved anything that somebody else has not achieved here. And I think that's what people go, why can't they do this? Why can't they do that? And, it's difficult here because there's so many things to do. So the first moment of adversity, you're not just fighting against your players, you're fighting against the town, you're fighting against Old Town Scottsdale, you're fighting against everything that could attract people out of Sun Devil Stadium or Mountain America Stadium. Because if they're not in Mountain America Stadium, you can't recruit. You can't recruit to an empty stadium. No chance. You can't recruit to people not caring. So it's that weird deal of we've got the momentum, you have to capitalize on it, because if you don't, we have to build a strong enough base of not just all the Sun Devil fans, but everybody else in the Valley like they were this year, so consistent that even if things don't go exactly our way, they're still there. And we're not there yet as a program. We've got the fun fans. People are joining because it's fun. We've got to build those people into diehards over the next 2 to 3, 4 years. So when things don't always go our way, we're not taking a big fall back down the mountain like we have in the past here.
Back of the room, Jordan.
Hey, Kenny, Jordan Ham, Sports 360 AZ. It just got announced that you're going to be the race starter for Pat's Run. Just being a guy that grew up here, what does that mean to you?
Yeah, it's awesome. It's exciting. I mean, I couldn't be more honored to do it. I think the relationship between the Pat Tillman Foundation and ASU football, we're trying to grow. Having the Pat Tillman Leadership Council and them letting us use his name and their organization to do that with our team. And then all of a sudden we go 11-3. That's pretty cool. I just met with our guys yesterday, our leadership council. Our entire team is going to do the kids walk this year, the kids run. So every single player on our team, if you have a kid and they want to participate in the kids run, all of our players will be out there participating in it, which is pretty cool, and they wanted to do that. So they couldn't do the 4.2 miles and then practice, but they all said the 0.42 was something they could do. So it's just an unbelievable honor for me, but really just really diving back in and trying to see how we can coordinate with that foundation to really, keep his legacy alive in this generation.
Sammy?
Coach, as Scat prepares for the Combine, you've said in the past that you had to talk to him last offseason to really get into that NFL level prospect. What were some of those conversations that you had, and how is he maybe preparing for the Combine this weekend?
Yeah, he's out in Florida working with his agent and their people. There's different ways to prepare. So I know for him, part of it was, get his body back right. Rest was definitely part of it for him. He's putting in the work necessary to go be the best version of himself. Like I said, not just Scap, but all of our guys, that are going to get the opportunity. I think whoever drafts them, whoever signs them, it doesn't matter where you go. I think all of those guys will exceed expectations as a person, exceed expectations from a work ethic standpoint, and exceed expectations being able to pick up the offense or defense. And I think that's all our job is, and all I want our guys, wherever they go, to exceed expectations and to achieve at a higher level than people believe that they could.
And then, Scott being the only one invited to Indianapolis, is that just another chip on your guys' shoulder going into next year that some of your other good players weren't getting an invite?
Yeah, it's I don't know about that for the future chip on the shoulder and all that, but I do know it's unfortunate that guys like Leaf specifically, Shamari specifically, who were kind of two of the borderline guys, aren't getting invited, didn't get invited. I think both those guys are NFL caliber players, or players that have a really, really good chance to make teams and excel. So that was unfortunate, just because they were a part of obviously a winning football team. But I tell our guys, it doesn't happen overnight. Like, there's a reason some teams get more people consistently in it. It's because they've won for longer. If we go and have a good year again, you will never have that happen again where somebody gets snubbed from Arizona State, in my opinion, again. It's the fact that we came from so low. I think if we continue to build and build and build, we're going to get some people in there that maybe, are borderline to not get in.
Cam?
Hey, Kenny, just to clear things up, you don't put Tabasco on ice cream, right?
I do not put Tabasco on ice cream, but I love Tabasco and I love ice cream.
Don't ever mix it.
Don't mix
All
them.
right, cool. What's the difference for you, Kenny, doing this job today than it was a year ago? What have you seen from the players, the community, inside the building? What are the biggest differences you've noticed?
Yeah, in some ways it's easier, in some ways it's harder because you have to find different ways. You're not dealing with a team that is new. So somebody's leaving a workout when everybody's still stretching. The workout's over and the whole team goes to stretch, or some leader says we're going to do a team stretch, and somebody goes upstairs. They are going to grab their own teammate to bring them back down now. So it's like some of this stuff that we've been preaching and trying to get the culture right is actually getting right, which is like, okay, well, now where can we insert ourselves without hurting leadership? Because we have so many returners, the more I talk to our team, the more I have to lead our team, the more I'm taking away of an opportunity for somebody who's returning to lead. So it's a challenging thing for me to try to balance right now, how much I need to lead versus how much I need to give these guys the opportunity to lead because of the amount of returners. So I think that's the balance me personally I'm trying to figure out, because every team's different. Every team needs different motivation. They need different insight. So I'm trying to learn this team, even though there are a lot of returners, they're wired a little bit differently this year than they were last year. I'm trying to just figure that out so I can help them, get to where they want to go.
Real quick follow-up, do you like that role?
Hey, Kenny.
It's different. That's coaching. Coaching is constantly changing and adapting and tweaking to be better based off of your current players. Coach Arroyo said it in his speech for the Broyles Award, and I couldn't agree more. Coaching football is not difficult. There's 11 people, 5 of them are in the exact same spot at the O-line almost every snap. Then there's a quarterback, so that's 6. You move 5 people around. That's it. You move 5 people around, they either go down or they go out or they go straight. Like, it's not hard. People are complicated. And the dynamics with 120 people plus a staff, so 175, 80 people all being in the same vision is the thing that's complicated. Not the football part. The football part's easy. And I think that's where we're just trying to navigate is what is our team and what things do we need to add and when do we need to add some Tabasco in order to be the best version of ourselves.
Hey, Mark McGlynn, Arizona's family. When it comes to Sam Leavitt, how much does he kind of take the torch from Cam when it comes to culture center here? And are there any measurables that you've kind of shared with him about even more growth here in the offseason?
Oh yeah, I mean, from the football standpoint, I'm not going to get too deep into the things that I think he can improve on or things we're working at. Sam's never satisfied. That's one thing about Sam. Sam won't be satisfied till he's achieved the very best he can ever achieve for as long as possible. He's just not wired like that, but he's very passionate. So I think the passion that you saw from Cam at times, Sam had it. It was just leaning into Cam because that was that was the guy that was, I guess, fun to follow, that passion, but Sam had that equal passion. So I think that passion that you saw from Cam, Sam has had and has had. So people are probably going to focus in on that passion more, that energy that Sam brings, as opposed to they leaned in on Cam last year. So I definitely think Sam's going to step up in that department, and he already has.
In the middle, Robbie.
Hey, Coach, just piggybacking off of you talking about, figuring out the dynamics of this team. How nice is it to have pretty much the whole coaching staff back? Because you kind of know what makes those guys tick. And when you're having those maybe difficult conversations where to insert yourself, you kind of have a good understanding of what's in your room there.
Yeah, it's awesome to not have to restart installs. Coach Aguado joked. He said this is the first time in his career he's ever had a returning offensive coordinator. Wow. I don't know if it's true or not, but that's what he told me. So if it's not true, call him, right? But that's absolutely wild to think that guy's been here, for a long time, and to think he hasn't had a returning offensive coordinator. And the fact that we've had our entire staff return, and not just our staff, a lot of our, we've had some guys leave for D1AA promotions and stuff like that in football, but we've had most of our off-the-field guys who haven't been promoted also return. And then the guys that we replaced those off-the-field guys with, Jay Lee and Ray Clark, they were both on our staff, got D1AA position coaches, chose to come back in the same roles, or similar roles. So we kind of replaced those guys with guys who wanted to come back and be a part of it. So I think it just shows that people that leave here want to come back and they want to be a part of the culture and what we're building. And it also shows, where we're at as a program, where's a place that people want to be at.
Jacob Brooks, Sun Devil Source. Kenny, now that you've had some time to reflect on the season that you guys had last year, how special has it been for you watching the impact that your team's success has had in the community, and what's your message to Sun Devil fans heading into this season?
Yeah, it's fun. I mean, just going out to games, and I think we broke. Baseball had. I think there was some sort of record, maybe. Am I right there? That's unbelievable. And to think that the left hand and the right hand and the right foot don't all work together in this big puzzle of college athletics is wrong, right? Football may be this, but it all works together. It all matters. What you invest in here is still affecting this. So the fact that, we did have some success in football and volleyball to start the season, I think that excitement in the community feeds over to baseball and basketball and hockey, who's killing it. And I think we broke a record at a swim meet as well this year. So, the fact that we're continuing to kind of feed off of the energy within the program is really cool. And for next year, it's just not, I've said it multiple times that I've been here, football, college sports it's not like pro sports. It's not just about the coaches and the players. The reason college teams are good is the community, the fan base, the support. You have to have that in college sports because you have to recruit kids, and no kid wants to go play in a stadium that's empty. They don't. So if you want to win, you better sell it out. If you want to recruit and get better, you better sell it out. And I think we're at 5,000 new season ticket holders already. Let's try to make it to where every game is sold out this year. NAU week 1, right? People are going to say, "What am I doing? It's hot outside." Let's sell it out. Our guys are going to take the field, and they're going to expect it to be a crowd based off what they did last year. Don't let them down.
Chris? Kenny, Charlie Ragle is going to win this, be given this distinguished award for the National Football Foundation. What has enabled him to get into that sort of a distinguished position, and how valuable is he in what you're doing?
Yeah, well, one, I think what's enabled him was his success. It started, at Moon Valley and transitioned to Chaparral High School and winning state champions and being the best coach in the state during his era. So the success, and then moving on into college and always continually to recruit here and do it in a manner that's respectable. Not do it in a way when you recruit one area for so long, if you recruit a certain type of way, you're going to burn all the bridges. You can't come back, right? Because you make false promises, you tell people what they want to hear. He's done it in a way that his relationships get stronger and stronger and stronger, which is only a testament to who he is as a person. And I think, what he adds for us is he can take the vision that I have or that I believe in, and he can say it in a different way. We understand each other on a level where I may say it this way, he can connect with players at such a high level with such a passion in a different way. So even though I may come at it from this angle, he has a unique ability to come at something from another angle. So the value he has here is not just being our special teams coordinator and not just fake punts and all that stuff. The value is the culture of the program. The value is coaches go to him and they're like, "Charlie, you got to get him to we're playing ice hockey in August. We're doing a competition on the ice. It's fall camp. We can't do this. Our guys are going to get hurt." And he's got to then monitor, be like, "Okay, let me talk to Kenny about it, the why." And so he does a really good job with the culture of the staff and the players, because I'm a little crazy sometimes, kind of honing me in and also explain to people why, if we do something crazy, why we're doing it, and it's not coming from the person who's doing it, it's coming from somebody else. So there's so much added value that no fan will ever talk about. They're just going to think the special teams is the only value, but that's probably the smallest thing he does for our program.
How did you perceive him when you were a teenager and he was your coach, and how much has changed since then?
Just fiery, passionate, you better do what you're supposed to do, accountability. He's definitely calmed down, as he's progressed in his profession and just he's gotten older. And, his daughter was born my senior year of high school. So I think he definitely has kind of calmed down and kind of has a different, I would say, beats to a different drum than he did in the past, but you still have the same person. So but I was definitely, I mean, I don't know if fear is the right word, but a little bit, but that's healthy. That combination is definitely all there.
Time for a couple more. Can we get it over to Colin, please? Right here.
Okay. A couple for you, Kenny. I did see at the Phoenix Open and everybody screaming Kenny at you. How much has the year changed just for kind of you personally and your family in terms of getting around town visibility-wise?
Yeah, definitely harder. Definitely, can't be as discreet. Can't put a hat on and disappear. But like I tell people, if you're here long enough, which I want to be, you're going to be recognized, and you're either going to be recognized and people are going to boo you, or you're going to be recognized and they want to take a photo. I'd much rather come up and somebody want to take a photo than somebody boo me. So hopefully we don't, lose too many games and people still want a photo instead of the booing.
I think it was On 3 had a thing where they ranked all the worst calls of the season, and you guys were number 1 for that missed targeting in Texas. Just when you look back at last season, is there anything kind of woulda, coulda, shoulda, or like that, for lack of a better term, keeps you up at night of what could have been?
See, I'm different. I think about what I could what I didn't like. I didn't like Texas Tech. There's a minute 30 left. They have 2 timeouts. We're on the 4 yard line. We get down to the foot yard line with Shaman's throw. Okay, we have 3 timeouts. We're playing good defense. Do we score quick? Minute 30 left. We get a stop, get the ball back, win the middle 8 that way. Do we run the ball, try not to score as fast? They call 2 timeouts, give them the ball back with 1:20 with no timeouts, and try to get a stop, but then we don't get the ball back. That didn't turn out our way. We ended up trailing consistently in the game by 11. They kicked a field goal at the end of the first half. I worry about that stuff. Like, my mind is like, man, did I handle that poorly? Should we have slowed the game down there? Should we have been as aggressive in that scenario? Cost us 3 points. We were down 8 almost all game. Dang, that could have been a completely different game if that would have played out. So that's what keeps me up at night, is those scenarios and how I could have helped our team win more games.
Okay, just coming off the season that you guys had, how has that helped just the NIL support that you guys have been seeking?
Yeah, huge support change. I mean, people are excited about the program. I think that's clear. Hearing us talked about on the radio and on television channels and articles written, all that stuff is recruiting. We're recruiting, and local media. You don't know it yet, but people want to recruit the state. You're recruiting the state. You recruit the state more than everybody else recruits the state, because you talk to the kids more than anybody else talks to the kids, because they read, they listen, and they watch everything that you guys do. And you guys are really the stamp of approval if they can come to Arizona State. And it doesn't just happen as a sophomore, junior, senior. It happens when they're a 7-year-old, an 8-year-old, a 10-year-old. They're hearing positive ASU, positive ASU, positive ASU. There's some negative in there, that's part of it. But the narrative around the place is people matter, it cares, it's the place to be, you want to go there. Well, that 10-year-old is going to do that for the next 7 years. And when we come calling, that's going to be his dream, not another option.
That's all the time we have.
We'll do the last one. He already got the mic, and then we'll let Ragle rock.
Okay, Kenny, silly question. What do you think of the 2 legends standing over there in the corner?
Oh my! I one legend.
The 2 legends, right?
Be nice to Jake.
Oh. I'm hoping I got this golf event, and then I'm hoping to come link up with Jake and play a little pickleball here.
That was my question. How's your pickleball game?
I've played once in my life for 20 minutes. So absolutely atrocious. And if I would have played my entire life, I probably still could not beat you. But that's the reality of it. But hopefully I'll be able to link up later. We'll be able to play some pickleball.